This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And to kick that algorithm in high gear, make sure you hit the like button during the stream or while you're watching it later on in the week. Joining us tonight will be the Notorious TikTok Nation, as we are now broadcasting on both YouTube and TikTok. This stream is brought to you by my Patreon, patreon.com/unhinged crypto. Join up for some of the best research and some computer-generated historical analysis published tonight that you will see nowhere else. And as you can see on the screen, there's that really subtle hint. Check out the Patreon. You can have lunch at Starbucks or Patreon. So check that out. Now let's welcome the shocked people who are either sleep deprived, working in Europe or Asia, or falling out of bed in America. We have Kenny R, Makes It Live, BitBoy Al, Bull Runner came on the stream and was like, are you really doing this at 2 o'clock in the morning? Yes, we are. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Crypto Steph, welcome. AZ is here. Long time. All right. Now, what are we doing? I'm going to tell you. Coinbase earnings came out today. I don't understand why everybody is selling Coinbase. Oh, no. Why everybody is selling Coinbase, right? Kathy Wood selling Coinbase. Everybody down on Coinbase. Let me tell you something about Coinbase. Every normie person in America has got a Coinbase account. Kids got Robinhood accounts. Cash App. I was talking to somebody yesterday that discovered Cash App has Bitcoin. Do you have any idea the pressure that is now underneath crypto with BlackRock and all these players draining Bitcoin out of the system? Do you realize that people who sit home and never look at their 401k, that's right, I said this funny word, it's called 401k, retirement funds. People who have no idea what they're invested in, none. They maybe look at the number once a quarter, and the only thing they care about is whether the number goes up. What happens if every big tech stock fund sells a little bit of Amazon, like Jeff Bezos, or sells a little bit of Apple, like Warren Buffett? What happens if they sell some of that stuff and allocate money to Bitcoin, which is still 25% below its all-time high? Well, let me give you the short version. The pressure builds up, it builds up, it builds up, and it's like a volcano. It just explodes, because that has happened in the history of crypto. It just hasn't been this level of buying pressure. Now, there are billion-dollar sellers out there. I get it. I'm not trying to be a moon boy idiot, but I am on the tape at 2 o'clock in the morning to tell you that no portfolio manager, no big institutional desk is going to risk going home and having crypto moon the legacy crypto products over the weekend when they're closed, right? In other words, if Coinbase's earnings come out, the stock goes up 14%, we'll go over the news. I'm seeing a process where this can like feed on itself. And I know y'all want to do alts, and I want to do alts too as trading plays. Like AGIX took off. I've been talking about AGIX forever, right? The thing I want to talk about are the things that come out of nowhere. And one of the things that's going to come out of nowhere when it comes to Bitcoin is just the magnitude and the meaning of the 401k, Coinbase, normie, boring world all hitting the green button at the same time. That's what I'm talking about. And we need to think about charts and news in that context. Rugby Performance Labs is here. By the way, this stream is brought to you or is dedicated to the Eagle King for being up this late doing the stream. Zoltan is here. Steve J is in the house. Double AM, Double B, JB from Southern California calling in. 4 p.m. in Japan. Little rush hour action. Okay. Australia is here. 7 a.m. UK time. BitBoy Al makes the stream live. Welcome. Okay, people. Let's just get busy talking about why I'm on the tape at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I always love to talk about my YouTube page as an indicator, like a leading indicator. So I did a live stream about Bitcoin going to 60K when Bitcoin was at 50K. Some people said it was some of the best work that I've done. And then guess what? The market went down the next day because of CPI, because we're all getting hosed at the grocery store. I guess they're not afraid to admit to that. And nobody watched the stream. I mean, somebody watched the stream. Y'all watched the stream. And of course, I appreciate that. But this stream did not do well. 60K. Meanwhile, somewhere over here, Michael Saylor's explosive Bitcoin prediction. Now, on one hand, no one watched a live stream about 60K. That's interesting. On the other hand, 5,000 people, when I've only got 6,000 followers, watch something about Michael Saylor where I'm basically saying everybody's going to have a Satoshi in a wallet on their phone, and that's going to sustain themselves when, the world changes. So on one hand, no one believes in 60K. On the other hand, somewhere out there in the YouTube universe, people are looking for something 60 seconds long about Bitcoin. They're trying to figure this out. So crypto people, not you guys, crypto people don't think this can go up. I think it looks more like a bottom than a top, even though the chart's vertical. We'll go through that. Crypto people are like, yeah, alts are not moving, whatever. Normies are like, ooh, look at this. The next Nvidia. This is why ETH is going to 10,000. This is some silly little thing where Vitalik seems puzzled over the fact that this individual asked Vitalik what's his favorite pickup line. Vitalik, who's like 40 years old, actually was spotted in a restaurant appearing to be on a date. But I think the meme or the joke here is the fact that, Vitalik can't really answer this question means he's hard at work. Now, a word about Ethereum. I hear gas is on the rise. Those are the transaction fees required, to participate in Ethereum. Solana doesn't have those fees. That's why Solana is popular. Just remember something. In legacy, when they can't get their hands on Apple, they'll go grab Nvidia. Or if they can't get their hands on Nvidia, they'll go grab something else. If they can't get their hands on Bitcoin, they're going to grab Ethereum. Ethereum is still money. It's probably not going to monopolize smart contracts because everybody's all wound up about gas fees. I'm not going to go there. I am going to tell you that the market, when it comes to altcoins, the altcoins that have mooned have been the ones that no one owns or everyone blows off. The first one was Bonk. Actually, the first one was Solana. The second one was Bonk, and you can go on down the line, right? Pepe had a nice rally recently. Nobody owned it. AGIX, a Cardano-connected AI coin, spiked today. What's the only thing in the market that has not had an absurd spike? That would be ETH. And if the spike in ETH is absurd, the spike in Bitcoin could be more absurd. Now, a brief commercial interruption from what is jokingly referred to as the Central Bank of the United States. Fed's Bostic says they may take some time to hit rate cut threshold. Gee, guys, what are you waiting for, right? Nobody can pay, credit cards are a problem. The only reason these guys are holding rates where they're holding them is because they're trying to hold up the dollar. They know that the second they start lowering rates, the fact that we owe $34 trillion has to be reflected in the value of the currency. Now, that's not the only thing that needs to be reflected in the value of the currency, but it's the only thing I think I can talk about these days, because we're not saying anything unless we're saying positive stuff about markets, believe it or not. Okay. Now, just keep in mind, Wall Street does have inflation angst, and there is a PPI inflation number, right? Retail sales were horrible. Everyone was like, in the investment banking world, retail sales are horrible. I wonder why. Maybe because the dollar doesn't go far enough for the common man, right? I was talking to somebody today. He's like, hey, Bill, where's Bitcoin going? I'm like, well, I got the tactical roadmap in Patreon and I'm going live tonight, so tune in. He's like, good, let me know when it gets to 60K because I got to get a new computer. People need protection against inflation. We talked about this last cycle when inflation first took off. Now it's happening and BlackRock is doing it, which is funny. Or the whole world is going to do it through mechanisms like BlackRock. Wall Street Journal tells readers to save money, you should skip breakfast. Well, folks, I would recommend Dave Asprey's book about intermittent fasting if you want health advice. As far as advice from reporters on how to navigate the world, I have a much better idea. Wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and watch the market update, and then think about, what is my crypto plan? Now, everybody on YouTube is always telling you to have a crypto plan. Your crypto plan is twofold. One, get involved, and two, learn as much as you can, as quick as you can, by watching whatever money you put in, as in not the rent, but watching whatever money you put in move around. Get in, watch, learn. Tune in, subscribe if you want. But get in and learn, yeah, that's better than skipping breakfast. Eat some protein. Breaking, new long-awaited Bitcoin wallet, the Coldcard Q, begins shipping. People, this is perhaps the most underrated story of the day. Okay. These like hardware wallets, I've got one, a different brand, that have got these like old-fashioned BlackBerry keyboards, and supposedly, they can't get to them via the internet. These things, you're going to have your iPhone and you're going to have your crypto device. Could be the Solana phone, could be this. This is coming. Bitcoin is going to become walking around money, or some form of Bitcoin like Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, or something else. Something else that's underappreciated will also become money. Winklevoss, the Bitcoin ETF, is taking 10x more Bitcoin off the market than are being minted dailies. If these inflows hold through the halving, Bitcoin ETFs will be taking 20x more off the market than the daily mint. People, you're not focused, and this is a great thing on Twitter. As a matter of fact, let's go to Twitter so I can maybe make somebody famous. Just a little bit. Let's see. Okay. So here's a tweet by yours truly. It's a good thing to bring up for the market update. Okay, so what fuels a rally? What fuels a rally? So in 2017, the rally was fueled by FOMO, right? They figured out how to print Tether, injected liquidity into the crypto system, created massive FOMO on Bitcoin, and everybody just bought it because it was going up. It was this revolutionary thing, just pure FOMO. No use case for ETH, just buy it. 2020, they printed 14, global central banks printed $14 trillion in the month of March of 2020 when they shut the whole world down. Inflation is defined as too many dollars chasing too few goods. But for crypto back then, that's wonderful because you got trillions floating around in the system. Venture capitalists more than happy to get a pump going. ETH had a use case with DeFi and then NFTs. Michael Saylor bought Bitcoin at 10 and 20, and you were off to the races for a year and a half. Now, 2024, there's a lot of reason to own Bitcoin. Like we could sit here all night, but you're not up at 2 o'clock in the morning or on your way to work in London for me to recite every single reason there is to buy Bitcoin. Now, what I am going to tell you is that the reason that this bull market could be so unbelievable is because for whatever reason, people are in denial about the reasons to buy Bitcoin. Like, you know, policy error. That's a legacy term. You're going to have to Google it. Policy error. What policy? How about every policy? Every policy of everybody, everywhere. Corporations, governments, central banks, you name it. But the thing is, we're watching it happening, but we're somehow in denial. We're like, oh no, this doesn't look like 2017 or 2020 yet, right? It's this slow creep. And then I said, denial. Satoshi Nakamoto was the guy that wrote the Bitcoin white paper, right? In the wake of the biggest financial crisis ever, right? Not a coincidence. Okay. And then there's this guy named George who wrote a book called 1984, which, believe it or not, I actually read in 1984 about, you know, what can happen if governments behave strangely. Now, I said denial of Satoshi's and George's vision of the future coming true simultaneously. This is what people are in denial about. Satoshi told you and George told you. It's happening. Banks, problems, inflation. It is happening. The Fed does not have control anymore. They've lost control. The narrative, inflate, everything. They have lost control. People are in denial about the obvious. Now, if you don't know anything about 1984 or you don't know about the Bitcoin white paper, that's okay, because I'm here to tell you that things are as they were predicted. Now, interestingly, and somewhat understandably, our horse says most BTC investors don't know who either of those two are or care. So no one cares who Satoshi Nakamoto is, and nobody cares about George and 1984. Okay, now you know what? Our horse is right. Most BTC investors don't know or care because that's the crypto community. Now, who is going to care? Well, anyone in legacy, anyone who has to go to the grocery store, anybody with a 401k, anybody with a Coinbase account, and anybody who can get access to an ETF. Do you have any idea how many people that is? So this many people don't care about Satoshi Nakamoto or 1984. The entire planet cares about its freedoms. Like their money is their money and our money is their money. No, no. This many people are coming into Bitcoin. And our horse is right, and so am I. Because these little crypto people, I'm waking you up out of bed. And if I come off as a moon boy and the market goes down tomorrow, I don't care. But we got to start thinking about why crypto was invented to begin with. Okay. Learn to manage the ups and downs of life, and you will reach your goals sooner. Learning to manage the ups and downs of life. Learning to manage the ups and downs of crypto. Jeff Bezos sells more than $2 billion in Amazon stock. Huh. I hear he's taking that up to like 6 or 8 billion. Gee, I wonder what he's going to do with some of that money. What's he going to do? Is he going to like stack it up in his house and like put it in the walls like in some movie? Of course, everything's fine over at Amazon. Everything's fine with the economy. You know, everything's fine. Jeff's just unloading on people. And there's minions to take it from him. That's what's incredible. Okay. German bank braces for worst wave of bad loans in the greatest real estate crisis since 2008. Now, why is this relevant? Because there's a time limit on how long the Fed can keep interest rates at these levels. Let them hold it up. Let them not hike rates all year. Whatever. Why do you think this market came straight back after the inflation number? Everyone's like, oh my God, the Fed. Even I was like, oh my God, the Fed. No one cares. Right? They're trying to hold up the dollar. They're doing a good job. We'll go through the chart. They're doing a good job. But this problem, the longer they wait to solve this problem, the worse it's going to be. And between now and then, everybody Bitcoins. So it's like the problem hasn't done anything terrible yet, the real estate problem. That's perfect because we know it's there. We know the Fed is full of it on 5% rates. No problem. You can just Bitcoin on. Like it could be Bitcoin, it could be ETH, and as I've said, it could be spectacular. Okay. Remote employees are more likely to be laid off than in-office peers, but they quit more too. Hey, people, Zero Hedge is running articles about the layoffs in tech. You know, it's supposed to be the dawn of the new AI. It's supposed to disrupt employment later. Folks, it looks like they're doing it now. Look at this heartbreaker. An affordability crisis is making some young Americans give up on ever owning a home. Go out. If you're Gen Z and you're hearing this, I want you to go out. I want you to take beer money. I want you to take the beer money and I want you to split it. I want you to go out and eat some protein. Then I want you to take the other half of the money and go out, not investment advice, and get involved in crypto. Because this will not stand. If I can talk, I am going to tell people that this is not America. This is not America. This isn't even humanity. Right? Opportunity, abundance, freedom, Bitcoin, crypto, and that's the market update for real. You getting that out there, TikTok? You getting it? Okay. Tether and Circle dominate in Argentina. So not only are they after the dollar, they're after the stablecoin version of the dollar, which is kind of funny in a way, right? They want a private sector version of the dollar. Nvidia just releases its own chatbot that runs locally on your PC. So happy to have Silicon Valley directly on my PC. Thank you. Okay. This is a gigantic race. It's a very interesting race, right? Like OpenAI wants to spend 7 trillion on semiconductor chips. I guess they don't want to buy Nvidia, or they don't think Nvidia can handle it. That's interesting, right? And then of course, Nvidia, knowing this, makes its own chatbot, because I'm sure they have plenty of money at Nvidia to do it. Now, as everyone races each other to see who builds Skynet from the Terminator movies, people, the world is a changing, and we don't have to sit around and wonder what it's going to look like, because it's happening right in front of our eyes. Really. And everybody is trying to tell me that Bitcoin at 50 something K is expensive, when I know for a fact in 2021, people were buying it at 50 because they thought it was going to 100. Right before Celsius and FTX blew up, everybody was buying it at 45, going, oh my God, it's going to the moon. Now you talk to people about Bitcoin, they're like, nobody thinks it's a good time to get in. Nobody. I'm like, because the thing about Bitcoin is, again, I know you're interested in altcoins. Altcoins, once Bitcoin does its thing, once Bitcoin reprices for this reality that everyone is in denial about, then altcoins can smoke higher. Now, that could be next week. That could be April, right? But Bitcoin, I don't think, has done its thing yet, because I'm going to show you what Nvidia did when Nvidia did its thing. The U.S. economy is not as hot as you probably think it is. A contrarian take on America in 5 charts. Thank you. We don't need the 5 charts. I love charts, but we don't need them. Anyone been to the grocery store lately? It's crazy, right? And of course, this whole thing with the tech layoffs, right? Like everybody got, I'm going to work at home, I'm going to stay home, and then out of sight, out of mind, out of job. Sad, and it is happening. Oh, well, look, there's Jeff again selling. Oh, it's up to 4 billion now. Why don't we make it 6, 8, or 10, right? Jeff's done. This guy was the biggest idiot on the planet in 1999. Everybody made fun of him for selling books online. Then the valuation got so absurd, they made fun of him again. Now he's laughing at everybody that he's now dumping stock on. Have a nice day, people. I mean, guys from other social media companies are building bunkers in Hawaii. These guys are leaving. You know what they're leaving? They're leaving the system. They're not selling stock. They're leaving the system. Speaking of leaving the system, Elon Musk to make another big break with Delaware by moving SpaceX to Texas. Not that Elon didn't know, but this whole thing about like our money is our money and your money is our money. Yeah, that little 56 billion with a B judgment where Elon couldn't get his pay package. If anybody I'm comfortable with having $56 billion, it's Elon. Big fan of Twitter, right? Free speech and all that good old fashioned American Constitution stuff. Yeah. So after that little $56 billion hiccup, you bet Elon is laying awake at night going, you know what? We got to make sure that whoever's on X can move money and have money. I mean, it is a question of time before, when everything is staked, all the tents are staked in the ground in Texas, that Elon is going to go full on crypto insane. I don't know if it's Doge or if it's Bitcoin or it's, or he tries to issue his own money. I don't know. But the more pressure they put on this guy, you have never made a living trying to pressure Elon Musk. Never. Short sellers tried to destroy Tesla in 2017. It was the cool thing to be short Tesla. He wrecked those people. Those people are janitors now. Warren Buffett. Wait, is Warren Buffett selling Apple? Huh. Funny how that really isn't a news headline, except, of course, on the market update. Smart money is unloading legacy. They're like, oh, yeah, you guys want to buy this stuff? Okay. Apple releases the cool goggles. Everyone's worried. Oh my God, the Bitcoin halving is sell the fact. Bitcoin halving, for anybody who doesn't know, is that the people who run the Bitcoin network, they get less money as programmed in by the Bitcoin giant computer program, right? Normally in crypto, as soon as this happens, you know, it makes Bitcoin more scarce. So everybody runs up into it and then sells. Everybody is forgetting, right, that the people who are selling all of these other instruments don't care about the little sell the fact thing. The sell the fact that's going on that people are in DENIAL about is that the sell the fact is they came out with their virtual reality goggles and Warren is selling. Warren bought everything in 2008 when Satoshi reached the Bitcoin white paper. Now he's selling. Now, Warren is not going to allocate money to Bitcoin, but the people who work at Berkshire Hathaway who may have a 401k that may have a technology mutual fund in it, yeah, they may allocate money to Bitcoin. There's going to be a news story one day about how the Bitcoin ETF snuck itself into the retirement plans of some of these anti-crypto entities. It's going to happen. The Fed is needlessly delaying rate cuts. By dragging its feet, the central bank risks harming financial markets and the economy, says Claudia. Huh. That's interesting. The risks are real. The Fed funds rate is 5.25%. No one believes this anymore. No one believes these guys. The day when they write the story of this bear market, the day the inflation numbers came out and they were horrible and crypto came straight back, that was the day that the Fed officially turned in the credibility card. So you got the Fed. No one believes why they have rates where they do. Yes, there's inflation, but really they want an excuse to hold up the dollar. Let me ask you this question, and I just thought of this. Why is it that the employment statistics paint this really rosy picture? It's obvious that they may not be accurate. So why is the inflation data accurate, but the employment data not accurate? Because they want to be able to keep rates up to defend the dollar. Because if they cut rates, they Are we back? Are we back? Okay, so I'm assuming we're back. I'm just going to keep right on talking. Okay. The Federal Reserve has rates high for the wrong reason. They're trying to defend the dollar. It was in a big interview on television. Okay, they're trying to hold up the dollar. Okay, I'm still seeing the chat. I'm going to keep talking. Okay, Coinbase shares surge after it crushes expectations. Okay, here's a critical point. Here's how earnings work. All economic data works. Analysts at every bank come up with some sort of expectation. Some guys are low, some guys are high. Some guys say earnings will be great. Some guys say earnings will be meh. What they do is they measure the results versus what was expected on average. Coinbase blew that out of the water. So everyone's bearish, everyone's selling, no one believes the rally. Everyone's talking about BlackRock and the ETF, which is an incredible conversation. Their conversations are all wrong, but that's okay. No one is talking about Coinbase. No one is talking about what happens when people start market buying Solana, right? They're going to go, oh, look, ETH's at 3,000 and Solana is at 150. Oh, let's market buy Solana. Oh, I can get a little bit of Bitcoin. Okay, let's get a little bit of that before it makes its all-time high. I don't want to do Nvidia. Let's do Bitcoin. I mean, I'm not making this up, folks. Okay, U.S. Federal Reserve says DeFi could boost dollar's global strength. Are you guys worried about the dollar? Right there in plain sight, people. Right there in plain sight. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy Bitcoin bet tops $4 billion in profit. You know, I have to confess, I got a little bit hung up on this back in the day. But remember when Michael Saylor was going to get liquidated? Everyone was like, oh, when is Michael Saylor going to get liquidated? He was getting liquidated 2 years ago and had to borrow more money. Now he's $4 billion in profit. Okay. Michael Saylor believes demand for Bitcoin products is 10x the supply. Now, there's also an important point, one which I have to remember, especially when I do live streams at 2 o'clock in the morning. This guy suffered. He got embarrassed by an accounting scandal at MicroStrategy. He had personal problems. He bought a bunch of Bitcoin. The trade location was off. FTX happened. The guy held on, took all kinds of heat, had to restructure MicroStrategy. They had to do some cosmetic transfer, putting him in like the hedge fund part because the computer company was embarrassed of what he was doing with Bitcoin. Man, when you're suffering, if you can hold on and you believe in what you're doing, you know, I know somebody who used to say, if you're going through hell, keep going. Just keep going. That's what this guy did. That's what crypto's doing. That's what I'm trying to get you to do. Just keep going. Just keep going. Now, the media is the obsession about the Bitcoin halving is officially here, right? So again, the Bitcoin network is not in one place. It's maintained by a large group of people. Okay, they get paid in Bitcoin for maintaining this computer network that has no central hub. And as things go, every 2 years, they get less Bitcoin for maintaining the network. And crypto people have done some really cool analysis. You know, crypto people are always talking about the cycle. The cycle of up and then down all revolves around the Bitcoin halving. Okay, now, BlackRock and friends are in town. So here's what's going on with the Bitcoin halving. Take all the stuff that you have about how markets work around the halving. I think you can kind of throw it out the window. And there's probably going to be a down move, but not after the halving. Maybe it's going to be before. Maybe. If there's going to be a down move. Now, naturally, I gave a tactical roadmap, like a draft, little short-term analysis, and a little bit of a roadmap for how I think this is going to work out. And where is that stuff? In Patreon. The link is down below. Now, everybody thinks the halving is a sell event in crypto. It's like in their head, halving, sell the fact, sell the fact. Everybody is like, sell, sell, sell. No. People in equities always looking for catalysts. Is there going to be an earnings beat? Is there going to be a new product launch? Is there going to be a new business line announced? People in crypto think halving is sell. People in equities are going to be like, oh, wow, we got the Bitcoin ETF. We can get our hands on Bitcoin, and there's a big catalyst coming up. There's going to be an additional supply reduction. So yes, in the crypto world, it's sell the fact. In the normie world, it's a catalyst to get in. Now, I realize that you might want to be hearing more about what altcoin is going to 100x next. That is the best conversation to have after the Bitcoin blow off top. It's probably going to be on the base chain, right? So first it was on ETH, then it was on Solana, then everybody went on Solana, and now it'll go somewhere else, right? The chase will be on. And it may be happening now to a certain degree, but understanding the power that can drive Bitcoin and ETH will be the power that drives the whole cycle. Remember, 2017 FOMO, 2020 a print job, 2024 denial of what is. Denial of what is. Bitcoin hits 52K, regains $1 trillion market cap. You know, it's really funny. Remember when in 2021, when $1 trillion was a lot of money? Oh my God, $1 trillion. Oh my God, this is a bubble. Oh my God, we got to get out. Now it's like, $1 trillion. Government does that, I don't know, in a month. Seriously, in a month. It's like, it's worth $1 trillion. Okay. You know, Apple, Microsoft, it's worth $3 trillion. You know, Web 2 as a whole, I don't know. It's like there's 7 stocks in the United States bigger than all the rest of the stock markets in the whole world, as I understand it. Feel free to leave a comment if that's incorrect. It's $1 trillion. Sam Altman wants $8 trillion. He upped it to $8 trillion for semiconductors. He's like, make it 8. That was a 7. Just pop $1 trillion on there. It's like, you know, Bitcoin, it's like $1 trillion. It's worth way more than that because $1 trillion ain't what it used to be. It's cheap. Dare I say it. Coinbase revenues surged $954 million. Watch out. Bitcoin is just 25% below its record high, but layer 2 stacks is even closer. DeFi on Bitcoin is all the rage right now, and Stacks is positioned to benefit. You know what the most hated, I don't know if it's the most hated rally, but it's the most hated thing ever, I think, is all these attempts to make Bitcoin do the things that ETH did, right? Like ordinals and DeFi. And it's funny, all the Bitcoin maximalist guys in 2020, when ETH DeFi came out, said all that was bunk because the only way we're ever really going to have DeFi is if we have it on Bitcoin. Now they have DeFi on Bitcoin and they hate it because it increases fees or makes it look like ETH, or I don't know. What you resist persists. You don't think Bitcoin can go up? It's going to go up. You don't think DeFi on Bitcoin is good? You're going to get more DeFi on Bitcoin. DeFi, when DeFi enters the narrative on Bitcoin, Solana, Steve J's betting on an ETH revival. When DeFi comes back, folks, again, the denial in this case is that DeFi isn't going to come back. The Fed just told you DeFi is coming back. Steve J told you. Renee is here. Ave, welcome. Okay. Is it Renal Doc? We are back. Reverend Flashback is here. Whitman. Okay. Smash Toshi. R.A. Daniel. What's going on? Yaz Crypto Bell. Digital Bobby. Okay. Inspiration. Rune. Yeah. People. Rune is probably breaking out. We'll try to get to it in live TA. Okay. Anything cross-chain, right? The thing we learned about Solana, and who knows, we may learn it again with Base, right? Because I don't know, that may be the next alt season. There's no way you're going to have crypto not cross-chain, because what's happening in crypto, right? So I'm giving the crypto people a hard time. What the smart crypto people are doing is when everyone goes to Solana, when everyone goes to ETH, they go to Solana. When everyone goes to Solana, they go to Base. When everyone goes to Base, they go somewhere else, right? They're just going to jump around and do the same thing that they did with Bonk. They're going to do it in like 6 different places until somebody like Rune or somebody else comes in and says, okay, yeah, here's the cross-chain wallet and here's the cross-chain interface. Oh, and by the way, it looks like a little BlackBerry. You know, maybe that's the Solana phone. I mean, again, you got to be asking yourself, where is this whole thing going to be in 6 months? I don't think people are thinking that. I think they're thinking that there's going to be an up move. I think they think it's automatic. Okay. It's not automatic, but there's a narrative developing that people are not following because the narrative is a slow building thing. It's not like 2020 where they just printed everything all at once, right? The narrative is building. And what people don't realize is when you have a narrative that builds and builds and builds, it's actually more sustainable. There's less gratification. Like, it's annoying, right? You're watching Bitcoin go up every day and altcoins will spike up and come back down. Like we liked Flow and Mina in Patreon, right? They spike up. We liked ART, AART went up like, I don't know, 100%, then comes back down. These altcoins, they're trading rallies. This market is annoying in many ways, but it's developing. And when it develops and it starts moving, it's sustainable, which makes me wonder a little bit why Cathie Wood is falling over herself to sell Coinbase. Well, that's because she's going to basically go, she's basically going to go all in on Bitcoin, right? She's going to be the equity fund manager, Michael Saylor. She's got the name, she's got the rep for going hyper growth, and she's probably going all in leveraged Bitcoin. That's my guess. ETH staking deposits touch 85 billion, 25% of circulating supply now locked up. Huh. I thought ETH was dead. Now, ETH is not going to be the exclusive smart contract platform. ETH has got its problems. Don't assume anything. Don't. Like, Solana is better than ETH for a lot of things. True. But don't assume something is dead just because it's not good for degen. Like, when you assume, like last cycle, everyone assumed Cardano was dead. And then Ben got on the air and the thing went from 30 cents to $3. Boom. Okay. Chainlink was dead. I mean, you do realize that Chainlink at $20 right now, as we speak, like if Chainlink is green, the market is going up because Chainlink was going up in July and August. And I said this on this other stream that nobody except the loyal market update audience watched, which I appreciate. Chainlink led the whole thing. Chainlink led this rally. So if you see Chainlink and it ain't budging, it's above 20. Like, the big psychological number in this market may not be it. Well, 50K didn't mean anything. It's just a nice looking number. But if there's a significant psychological number, it could be 20 in Chainlink. Chainlink is above 20. That's the cross-chain future, apparently. Look out. BlackRock's got 100,000 Bitcoin in what? A month? A week? Bitcoin looks just like it did when a blank. Fill in the blank, huh? I have a computer-driven pattern match to fill in the blank. The ETH chart is even more interesting. And then I put this picture in Twitter, and then I called up Eagle King, and I said, bro, how do you feel about going live? He's like, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, King is looking for Avalanche DeMark. I can't get DeMark on this. Okay, I can look. I can drop it in Patreon free. Okay, Steve J says Alve total value locked is 11 billion. Okay, Steve, I hope after this cycle we can have a beer together and you can tell me the legendary story of the guy who would not quit on ETH DeFi. It'll be a market legend story. Okay, this is your market update. We're going to charts. Charts on TikTok. I'm going to try to keep you posted about what we're doing. Okay, on TikTok, it's in the bio. They make it really hard for me to put it in there, but it's in my bio. And this is, of course, a really subtle QR code to get signed up for Patreon. Oh, by the way, for anybody who's still listening, I have 498 members in Patreon. Somebody is going to be Patreon member number 500. I got Luis was 100. Lochez, right? A female Spartan warrior was number 300. Number 500 is out there. You best get yourself into Patreon and get ready for this cycle. Do not tell your children that you did not get on this move because of 15 US dollars. Now, if you live somewhere where that's a lot of money, I get it. There's a free section. Don't be that guy over $15. Now, Bitcoin. Let's talk about diamonds, right? Diamonds are a diagonal formation that works very good in crypto. Normally, a diamond represents a lot of volatility in a confined space. So this is a little clinic on diamonds, right? You had a little diamond, and when you broke out of it, you exploded. And there's a big diamond, and when they broke out of that, it exploded. This is hidden pivot analysis. 50,000 was a number, and they went through it like it wasn't even there. To be honest, they tested it for what, 2 days? Puh. See ya. Now, could they go back to 50 and test it? If there's an economic number, yeah. But they could also take it. It got cut off. They could also take it up to this line, which is at 62. Now, the people in Patreon have got the roadmap. You got to start asking yourself a very important question. What happens if this gets crazy? Think it can't get crazy? Here's Nvidia, the chip stock in AI. So this gap over here was bigger than the entire market cap of ETH at the time. Nvidia added more to its market cap this day than is worth all of ETH. It's like $250 billion in one day. And of course, there's whoop. Notice how it sat here and bored everybody, sort of, and then just went straight up. Straight up. Look, could the same thing happen to Ethereum? Like ETH is above 2766. It went up, it came back. It's not very enthusiastic. It's boring people. People, there's nothing here on this chart. There's nothing to stop this. The only thing that's stopping it is when are more buyers and sellers going to show up? Or are there Celsius guys and all these bankrupt entities that are still liquidating ETH, ETHE? I don't know. But there's nothing on the chart. Nothing. Total crypto market cap. Everyone's like, there's a cup and handle in Bitcoin. Yeah, man, there definitely is. There's a saucer bottom in total crypto market cap. Total crypto market cap took out 1.86 trillion like it wasn't even there. And the upside target is probably something like 2.2, where you're like, oh my God, 2.2 trillion. People, this over here, right? This over here was where total crypto market cap was before Celsius. Crypto is just resetting itself. It's not a bubble. It's not out of control. It hasn't even started yet. We haven't reset for back pre-Celsius, pre-FTX. I mean, it went straight down. So theoretically, there could be a component of this where it goes straight up. Again, people in Patreon have a history-based, computer-generated pattern match. Total 2. Now, this is even more insane, right? In other words, they break out. This is total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. Sorry, total 2. So total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. They break out, it sits. They break out, it sits. It sits. It sits. No reason why you can't add $250 billion to total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. Bull runner's like, yeah, it's coming. It's coming, man. I mean, I'm on the air because it could happen tomorrow. Okay. Now, even if it doesn't, at some point, you're going to have real parabolic action. Ironically, the most bullish thing that could happen, just while I'm on this soapbox, is that the market would act. This is total free. So this is just straight up altcoins. The most bullish thing that could happen is if it came off a little bit, held, then turn around and went up. Just FYI. But there is the possibility off these Coinbase earnings that this gets emotional. But in altcoins, it doesn't feel that emotional. Altcoins have got resistance at 547 billion. This is why, it just can't seem to get going. Now, of course, Solana is going to change all of that eventually. But this is why I think Bitcoin has to lead. If Bitcoin and ETH lead, all the rest of this stuff eventually breaks out. It's just not breaking out now. And that's important because you're like, yeah, Bill, I have TradingView. I can see it. Yeah, but it's wearing you out. It's dulling your mind. It's boring you. This is what bull markets do. They bore you and then boom. Okay, Solana. Solana on a tactical 4-hour chart makes a big new high at 117. The momentum indicators don't follow, and then it rolls over. Now, under these conditions, Solana should go down just as a standalone. If Solana does not go down, you know that altcoins are going to follow Bitcoin. In other words, if Bitcoin is powerful enough to invalidate any bearish altcoin chart, then it's on in crypto. Is that going to happen tomorrow or next week? Gee, I sure hope so. All I want you to do is not underestimate who is coming to crypto and what is going to drive the rally. Normies could pile in and take stuff that you don't think can go up much higher. And smart crypto people, even though some are in denial, others are off to Solana and Base and wherever this meme coin narrative is going to go next. So again, don't disbelieve what is happening before your eyes. Fetch.AI. Okay. Now, there was a nice spike up. This looks somewhat toppy because what happens is an altcoin will outperform and then it'll come off. And then some other altcoin will outperform. That's because the Fed still has rates too high. There's not enough money in the system to levitate everything. So the altcoins have to rotate. I'm happy to say that we got Patreon people into Fetch.AI, basically saying there was way too much distance between where this was and the next resistance points at 63 and 70 cents. It was not rocket science TA. Okay. Now let's talk about the dollar. DXY. So, well, I guess I'm a chart guy. So this looks like a head and shoulders bottom. It looks like the dollar wants to go up. The Fed is talking all this tough talk about inflation and keeping rates up. No, I don't care. To me, this looks like a giant stop fishing exercise. Sweep the wick, sweep the stops. There are all these cool terms in crypto. This was invented in the foreign exchange market. Okay, running stops. Do you realize what happens if this dollar starts falling apart or even just starts going down? Like you had a reason for the dollar to go up and then all of a sudden retail sales is horrible and everyone's like, ruh-roh. The Fed can try to hold it up with higher rates, but that doesn't mean it's going to hold up. But can you imagine with BlackRock and all the normies piling in and the dollar starts to roll over at the same time? So yeah, this is bullish. And if it plays out, crypto's going lower. But if this is a false breakout, forget about it. Okay. Let's go to some charts. Okay. Somebody was asking me about MicroStrategy. By the way, the Patreon section has a chat that I can see on my phone. So Patreon Premium, I'm responding to everybody within 24 hours. So MicroStrategy holds the 62% retracement. MicroStrategy has a lot of gaps in it, and that's not the prettiest candle I've ever seen. So apparently somebody got the idea that today was the day to take profits in MicroStrategy And I have an idea. What happens if all this selling in MicroStrategy was because everybody was afraid that the Coinbase earnings were going to disappoint? Right? Here's Coinbase daily. Here's the hidden pivot analysis on Coinbase. What happens if Coinbase, you wake up, you come in tomorrow and it's above 175, which it's going to be, it's going to go to 234 and probably take everything with it. What happens if everybody sold Coinbase and Coinbase just gaps like a mad dog? Again, this is not how crypto people are used to thinking. I know I have a lot of gray hair. I know there's a tendency to like not listen as an analyst, particularly if you think you got something good. If this like blows up, as in goes up, then Bitcoin is going to go crazy, crazy. 100 messages in the chat. What's up, people? Appreciate that. Okay. Somebody was all pumped up about Avalanche, keeping DeMark. DeMark is in Patreon. Okay. But I can do this. Notice how Avalanche, I can like zoom in on this. So there's a couple of points about Avalanche, right? The whole real world assets on the blockchain, security tokens, all the reasons to buy Avalanche that were, talked about in December, particularly by me. Okay. At some point, they have to deliver something. And not every altcoin is going to make it. Now, if it bounces off 38.41 and turns around and comes back, it could go to 47. Just be mindful. Altcoins are moving in rotating fashion. Whatever no one owns goes up. If Avalanche is overowned, it won't go up. When it's not overowned or when it's Avalanche's term, it'll go to 47. And I realize that everybody wants December back. Everybody wants the whole thing to moon all at once. And that's not how it works, because as much as we can say negative stuff about the Fed, that is what it is. There's not enough money to levitate everything right now, right? And Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett are selling. So at some point, there will be a disturbance in risk assets. So just by the way, I'm not picking on Avalanche. This is fine, right? Let's go to a tactical chart on Avalanche. Okay. So if you do the hidden pivot work on the tactical chart, no, Avalanche still probably got room. So there's nothing wrong with Avalanche. Now, where I noticed where like the price action was near. Okay. This is just an example of a run, right? So here's near. There's a giant diagonal line, right? Okay. There's this gigantic diagonal line in near. And near could not break that line like 5 or 6 times, including one recently at the end of the month. Then near all of a sudden broke out and went vertical from 277 to 345. And this is the altcoin game. You find something that breaks out and you go with it. Period. Okay, just another word about altcoins. Now, this is an open question. I know people in crypto like absolutely, positively definitive stuff. Okay, this is a diamond formation for Bitcoin dominance. If Bitcoin breaks out this way, Bitcoin is going to just rule the roost. If Bitcoin dominance fails here, which is something I have not talked about, oh my God, this thing with Bitcoin dominance still happen, right? But wouldn't it be insane with all this Bitcoin ETF mania if ETH was the thing that turned around and took off? Just saying. Maybe I'm showing my boomer self. But for all this pressure in the system, sometimes I wonder if ETH is going to have the punch. Kenny wants to know if XRP is a sleeping giant. You know what I think? I hate to say it, but we're in XRP winter. Okay. These are Fibonacci lines, right? Daniel J, late night crypto. Yes. Okay. These Fibonacci numbers have always triggered a give up trade in XRP. Maybe the give up trade doesn't start right now, and maybe the give up trade is just a range. Honestly, I think you come back to XRP in December after people are just so disgusted they've all left, where you can't even utter the word XRP, which, remember, is what happened to Solana, right? I mean, so do you know how many live streams? Wendy O was the only person who got live when it was Solana was at 10 and goes, I'm buying Solana. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, she's absolutely right. And I had a colleague say the same thing. This is going up. But what did Solana have to go through first? It could be the same thing with XRP. It could be. Okay, let's see what else we got in here. Oh my God. Oh my God. VeChain. You want to talk about the ultimate example of what is going on? Look, you look at this. Look at this, right? How long have you suffered in VeChain, right? They say the bigger the base, the higher in the space, right? This is a 2-year base in VeChain, right? Now, look, I understand that there's like a lot of cool altcoins and stuff. There's new stuff out, SEI, SUI, but in the old stuff, there's just this unbelievable pain trade going on where everybody knows what VeChain is, but no one touches it. No one is like, I'm done. That's why Steve J is doing DeFi, right? I think I saw something a couple months ago that said Synthetix. Let's just pull it up. Synthetix has been in a dead range for like 800 days. Like Synthetix died 800 days ago. I don't know how true that is. I mean, where was the death of Synthetix? So let me just label this for the stream. And then I'm getting Eagle King in bed and myself. Okay, here's Synthetix. How long has Synthetix been dead? Now, I don't know if Synthetix is going to stay dead because I think SEI has got some wicked gizmo. Also GMX, which is the trading dog's pick. Okay, so I can't find the little indicator, but I do know that since February of 2022, Synthetix has been out of business. That's a lot of despair. Okay, just to put it in perspective. Okay, Chainlink had its despair period, and now things are changing. And just if I can end here. If Megan, if you're out there hearing this, like Megan was the one who's like, yeah, Bill, man, you gotta get on board with Chainlink. Chainlink unwound all of Celsius. Now, Chainlink had been moving lower before that, but if Chainlink is unwinding it all, the rest of the market is unwinding it all. Okay. There's going to be a time for 100x altcoins. Most likely that's going to be after Bitcoin does its thing. Altcoins are going to go crazy. The thing to be looking at now is the reasons why Bitcoin could go up, the amount that Bitcoin and Ethereum could go up, right? In the short term, like a melt up, like something crazy. And God forbid there's a dip and it comes back. Then you know it's just going to go. and it could go anyway. After it goes, that's when the small coins are going to melt up. Okay. But again, the smart crypto people, like on one hand, I'm giving crypto people a hard time. On the other hand, don't let them pull another Solana on you. Make sure you know Solana. Make sure you know Base. Make sure you know all these layer ones, SEI, SUI, like all these little incubators. That's where this stuff is going to come out. You are going to have to get multi-chain if you want the 100x, but that's probably going to come after Bitcoin. Why? Well, because if the Fed is not printing money, ETH and Bitcoin are going to have to print money for you to go speculate in alts, because that's how it's worked historically. That's the one thing that is the same going back to 2017, is that people need Bitcoin and ETH profits in order to dive into the small cap stuff. Kenny R says Bitcoin is at an all-time high in Japanese yen. TikTok Nation, if you're out there listening, hit the like button and let those little hearts float up. Okay, a lot of requests. Can't do them all. The free section of Patreon has comments. I'm still getting to the requests from the last altcoin overtime. I have heard you. If you go into free Patreon and list coins, I will get to them. Cardano is next. I'm studying it. It's just got to get through resistance. Okay. That's the market update. We will see you next time.